mic test. 1, 2, 3, 4, mic test.
There's a battle going on between the front of the court and the back of the court. Whenever I come in, they say, turn the air conditioning off. Halfway through the day, somebody turns it back on again. Anyway, if you see me up here in an overcoat tomorrow, you'll know what the problem is. Right, on we go.
The defendant calls its first factual witness. That's
Yes.
Miss Alia Shocker.
If you could please state your name and your address to the court.
My name is Alia Abushoka. My address is 15th Street, Washington, D.C. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence that I'm about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you, Ms. Sugar. Do sit down, please. You've probably heard me say before, if any problem about understanding anything, do speak rather than just guess. And keep your voice up, will you? Thank you very much.
You should have volume 2 in front of you. Tab 16. Front page. Confirm that that's your witness statement dated 31 January 2016.
Yes, it is.
Can I ask you to turn to the back page in that tab? 343. Can you just confirm that that's your signature there?
Yes, it is.
Please can you confirm that the contents of that witness statement are true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Can I ask you to turn to tab 21? In the same bundle. So it's the last tab. Confirm that's your second witness statement, dated 6th February 2017.
Yes, it is.
Page 439. Please can you confirm that's your signature?
Yes, it is.
Please can you confirm that the contents of this witness statement are true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Good afternoon, Mr. Strocker.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for coming. I want to ask you some questions now about events in 2014. So, Could you start, please, with volume 8 of If I could ask you to go to divider 107, please. And there we see, bottom of the page, I'm looking at the bottom half of the page, there's an email from you to Samantha Woolley of E.C. Harris and Christopher Seymour of E.C. Harris. Do you see that? Copied to some of your colleagues internally and to DAS. And you are sending an attached revised programme on to E.C. Harris. Do you recall this?
Yes, I do.
And if we look behind the email 2 pages later, we can see that there is a contractor's programme.
Yes.
So you had this programme in 23rd of April 2014. Did you consider that programme yourself?
No, I did not.
You sent it on to E.C. Harris for them to consider?
Yes, we have.
And then what happened, I think, was that E.C. Harris, a few days later, produced a report, didn't they? And if you turn on to divider 108 in this bundle, we can see that. So on that page, we can see there's an email from Samantha Woolley of E.C. Harris to you, and giving you some pages of their report. Over the page, we can see that report, Development Budget Estimate Revision 1 of April 2014.
Yes.
And we look at the content of that report. I'd like to look in particular with you at page 1635. And there, under the heading of Programme, we look at the second bullet point, please, under Observations 5.1. Harris say, the overall timescale indicates a revised date for completion of 20th of December 2014, plus commissioning. We would estimate a further 12 weeks for this activity, equating to a final completion of the end of March 2015. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And they went on, this contrasts to our estimate, judged on the observed outstanding works of May 2015, and thus we feel that the contractors' programme could be slightly optimistic, but not overly so. Did you read this at the time?
Yes, I have.
And so you understood, did you, when you read this report, that E.C. Harris's own estimate of completion was May 2015?
No, this is not my understanding.
And so when you read the words, this contrasts to our estimate, judged on the observed outstanding works of May 2015, what did you understand?
My understanding is that at the onset, when they just had some preliminary information, their rough estimate was May 2015. However, upon given more specific, more detailed information via the program, they have revised their estimate to March 2015.
When you read this report at the end of April 2014, Ms. Shocker, did you understand that the view that E.C. Harris was expressing here was that their estimate, judged on the observed outstanding works, was May 2015?
No, this was not my understanding.
You just told us that you thought that further information came to light and there was a view of March 2015, but was that later?
That was based on the revised program that they had just been sent.
So when they wrote our estimate judged on the observed outstanding works of May 2015, what did you understand that to mean?
I understood that this was their rough estimate based on the preliminary verbal information that they obtained.
And so when they said it was judged on the observed outstanding works, you thought in fact it was based on something different?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Well, you see, it's just that they say that their estimate was judged on the observed outstanding works.
Mm-hmm.
But you thought it was based on something different from that, did you?
As I said, my understanding is that based on the preliminary discussion that they had with the project team as to what had been done, what still remains to be done, verbal information that was exchanged in meetings, they formed a rough estimate of May 2015. However, upon given more specific information via the program prepared by the contractor, they had come to a definitive opinion of March 2015.
That view is not expressed in this report, is it?
This was my understanding.
You don't suggest that view was expressed in this report, do you?
Sorry?
You don't suggest that that view is expressed in this report, do you?
This is my understanding of what they wrote here.
Now, you tell us in your witness statement that the date of the 31st of March that found its way, 31st of March 2015, that is, that found its way into the amended restatement agreement in September, that was based on E.C. Harris's view. Did they know that you were relying on them for that?
E.C. Harris, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Tell them that in writing.
I do not recall.
In the period after the delivery of this report on the 28th of April 2014, did you stay in regular contact with E.C. Harris?
Yes, we have.
And what would be the nature of that contact? Would that be emails, telephone calls, meetings, or what?
A combination of all. But mostly I would converse with them on the phone if I needed.
I see. So, and that would be from 28th of June, 28th of April onwards, right through the rest of the year?
I do not recall specifically, but more or less.
That's just generally your way of dealing with E.C. Harris, that you spoke to them regularly on the phone?
No, sometimes I put something in writing, sometimes I would talk to them on the phone, depending on how much is the level of detail that I need, or whether I need to have something in writing, in details in writing regarding anything.
So after you get this report at the end of April, was it customary, for example, for you to speak to E.C. Harris every week?
I don't recall the frequency.
Well, roughly. I mean, did you just speak to them once every couple of months, or was it more frequent than that?
I spoke to them whenever the need arose. I don't have off the top of my head, I don't remember every single occasion when I needed to talk to them.
In June, you were in contact with E.C. Harris about the budget, weren't you? June 2014, do you remember that? Let me help
No,
you.
could you
Yes. If you turn on in this bundle, please, to divider 117. See an email from you to some of your colleagues, and you're attaching an E.C. Harris development budget estimate. Well, you're attaching the 28th of April document that we've just looked at,
Yes.
and you refer to the budget breakdown on page 5. Do you want to turn back to look at that, just to see what we are looking at? You go back to the document that's at 108, tab 108. Go to page 5 of the document, which is 1628 of the bundle. See, there's a budget summary on that page.
Yes.
And if you just keep your finger in that page, go back to your email of June the 19th, you can see that you're saying to your colleagues, kindly note that the main contract price mentioned as 417 million dirhams is inclusive of extension of time of about 43 million, which is still under negotiations with the main contractor. EC Harris and client believe there's room to negotiate this figure downwards to about 35 million. However, it was included in their final budget estimate as a worst-case scenario in case negotiations aren't fruitful. So it looks, doesn't it, Ms. Shocker, as if you've been in contact with EC Harris at this time in relation to the budget figures in the report?
Yes, I did not deny that I was in contact with EC Harris.
And later that month, just a few days later, in fact, there was a new appointment of EC Harris, wasn't there? Do you recall that they received a new appointment as monitoring surveyor?
Yes.
And if you turn on to divider 118, see that appointment.
Yes.
You have that, and we can see that they are saying to you, and this is addressed to you, that further to our meetings and our recent telephone conversations, please find attached the details of our revised fee estimate for the ongoing monitoring of the above project. So you had had meetings and telephone conversation with EC Harris, it seems, is that right?
That's what I said, yes.
And those meetings, do I correctly infer, were about the terms of this appointment?
Yes.
Did you consider those in some detail with EC Harris in your meetings and conversations?
You mean are you referring to the terms of their appointment as a
Yes.
monitoring surveyor?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
You considered those terms in detail with them?
Yes.
And we can see, can't we, that if we look at the bottom of this page, that their deliverables would be generally as follows: an initial review of the project once the new team has been put in place, monthly monitoring report covering the full commercial position of the scheme plus results of the day-to-day monitoring of the following items. You understood that they were doing day-to-day monitoring, didn't you? Is that right?
Yes.
And they were doing day-to-day monitoring of all of the matters over the page, reviewing the programme and so on, matters on that list.
I understand the concept of day-to-day monitoring on a weekly site attendance, but maybe...
Well, monthly monitoring report covering the full commercial position of the scheme plus results of the day-to-day monitoring of the following items. Well, that's the way it's put. What did you understand by that, Ms. Shocker, that you agreed with them that they were going to do a report that would have results of day-to-day monitoring of these items? What did you understand they were going to do?
My understanding is that they would provide a monthly report based on the daily reports, that they would be monitoring of the daily reports that are produced on the site.
I see. And so the letter that they wrote you on the 22nd of June, had this effectively been agreed in advance with them?
Yes.
And they set out a programme of their works, didn't they? If you look at the there's a fee schedule attached, isn't there? If you look at page 1711, and over the page there's a programme of their work.
Yes.
And which runs from their appointment and carries on, it appears, up until the end of June 2015.
Yes, it does.
So you were appointing E.C. Harris to monitor the project until the end of June 2015. At this time, weren't you?
Yes.
It rather looks, doesn't it, as if you and E.C. Harris were expecting the project to continue until the end of June 2015.
No, this is not correct. After the completion of the construction, it would have taken a few months for the closing of all the accounts and issuance of the final PPCs. That's why the engagement of E.C. Harris had to be continued for a few months after the full completion, so that they can monitor the closing of the accounts and confirm the final PPCs.
Do you expect to be updated with any revised programmes produced by the contractor Intermas?
It was not mentioned to us at this time that a reviewed program was being prepared by Intermas.
If one was being prepared by Intermas, you would expect to be told about it, would you?
Yes, I would have expected to be told, and if we knew that there was a revised program being produced by Intermas, we would have asked for this program to be provided, sent it again to E.C. Harris, asked for a reassessment of their, or a revision of their report, and generally started the whole cycle again.
Yes. And you'd expect E.C. Harris to find out, wouldn't you, if the contractor produced a revised program?
No.
Their day-to-day monitoring on site and attendance at weekly site meetings, would you not expect them to find out if the contractor produced a new program?
If they were told by the site teams that a revised program is being produced, then they would know about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't know about it.
Can I ask you to look at a document in Bundle 9, please? Ms. Shocker, I'm so sorry. I wonder if I could just take you back to that E.C. Harris fee proposal. I do apologise. It's entirely my fault. If we just briefly go back to Volume 8.
Yeah. What page?
And it was it's tab 118. And I wanted just to have another look at page 1712, that programme that we looked at. And you said a few moments ago that the reason that the appointment went on until the end of June 2015 was because of just drawing matters together after the end of the construction works.
Yes.
Can we just look at the bars of this programme that run on till the end of June 2015? And there are two of them. The first is Civil Works Main Building and Fit Out. You see, runs to the end of June 2015.
Yes, it does.
And so it's not just project closeout, it's also civil works on the main building and fit out carrying on until June.
To my understanding, part of the civil works and fit-outs is done at the end of the project. Now, to my understanding, this included closing of the accounts related to civil works and fit-out.
Well, it comes under a heading of construction, doesn't it, Ms. Shocker? And it says civil works and fit out.
Yes, well, there are PPCs issued in relation, final PPCs issued in relation to civil construction and fit-outs and external works, and closing of the accounts for civil works, external works, and fit-outs.
Thank you. Let's go back to bundle 9, where we've moved on to. And I'd like to take you to a document at tab 129, and the first page of it is at 1783. And this is a briefing paper prepared by Hill, the new project managers at this time, and we can get the date of it from a covering email of August the 10th, 2014. I wanted to ask you about information that we can see on page 1787 under a heading of schedule considerations. And you see that Hill, the project managers, are reporting that on the 10th of July, IME submitted a revised schedule to completion with a completion date of the 1st of March, but with completion stated as excluding testing and commissioning and authority approvals. From previous schedules submitted by Intermass, the duration of testing and commissioning and authority approvals has been submitted as being 4 months. As such, the actual handover completion date proposed by Intermass in their submission of the 10th of July approximates to completion handover only by the 1st of July 2015. So it looks, doesn't it, as if there was a new programme in on the 10th of July from the contractor.
I did not receive this document, so I did not read this before, and I did not have a chance. I did not discuss it with anybody because I didn't receive it.
I wasn't actually asking you whether you'd seen this document at the time.
This is what seems to be suggested in this report. I cannot answer for what's written there because it was never given to me to discuss.
Did you not know that there was a new Intermass programme produced in early July 2014?
No, I did not.
Is that something you would have expected EC Harris to find out about?
I believe I've answered this question. If they had been told that there is another program being prepared, then they would have known. Otherwise, they have no means of getting this knowledge.
Turn back, please, to page 1782, the first page of this divider. Where we can see an email from Mr. Fichet of Hill International, the project managers, sending this paper to DAS, saying, please find attached a summary briefing paper covering the agenda items included in the meeting notification for this afternoon's meeting as called by EC Harris for your information. Now that meeting was called you were invited to that meeting, weren't you, Ms. Shocker?
I do not recall. I do not recall that I was invited to this meeting.
Well, just look at one or two matters. If you look, please, in this bundle at tab 131. We can see an email from Mr. Jean-Sébastien Blot of the following day to you, saying, Dear Alia and Jonathan, as discussed yesterday, please find attached the summary of the pre-opening budget. Speak with Langham. It looks, doesn't it, as if there's been discussions between you and Mr. Blot on the previous day, August the 10th.
Could you repeat the question again, please?
It looks, doesn't it, as if there's been discussions between you and Mr. Blot on August the 10th.
Apologies for interrupting. Which email are you looking at?
I'm looking at page 1822. Mr. Blot's email to Ms. Shocker. It does rather look, doesn't it, as if there's been discussion between you on the previous day.
Yes.
And if you go back 2 pages to page 1820, there's an email from Mr. Hall of EC Harris to Mr. Blot, which has been copied to you September the 9th, and if you go down the page, you can see he's saying at point 2, as per the meeting on site with NBAD, DAS and EC Harris on 10th August, it was agreed by DAS that HQS scope would be extended. So again, it does look, doesn't it, as if NBAD attended the meeting on the 10th of August that had been called by EC Harris.
Number 2 here says, I do not recall attending a meeting on the 10th of August.
Well, it looks like someone from NBAD attended, doesn't it?
I wouldn't know.
You don't know. Well, Mr. Hall seems to think that someone from NBAD attended that meeting on the 10th of August. Who attended meetings on site in relation to this project for NBAD? Whose general responsibility was it to attend meetings with the professional team and the clients in relation to the project? Whose responsibility within NBAD?
I would attend Antoine or EC Harris.
So, but if someone from NBAD was there, it would be you or Antoine?
If
Is that right? That if someone from, if we're just told that someone from NBAD has attended a meeting with DAS and EC Harris and the project manager, then that would be you or Antoine, would it?
As I said, I do not recall attending this meeting.
No, I understand that that's your recollection today, Ms. Shocker. What I'm asking you is whose responsibility it was within NBAD to attend meetings such as this with the professional team on this project.
I believe I answered that it would have been me or Antoine at the time.
And there's another email that I perhaps should have shown you. If you go back in this bundle to tab 9, to tab 127, see that there's actually an email setting up the meeting from Mr. Hall of EC Harris, and he's saying he's sending this to a number of people, but including you and Mr. Socken, and saying, referring to a meeting on the 10th of August, "Dear all, as previously communicated, a meeting is required with DAS Real Estate, Hill International, NBAD and EC Harris." So from the beginning, it looks like the intention was for NBAD to attend, doesn't it, on the 10th of August?
Yes, this is an invite to a meeting.
We can see over the page that the agenda for the meeting from EC Harris included programme, works progress, programme approval and procurement, which Hill International were to deal with.
All right.
Do you see that, the meeting that you and EC Harris and Hill International and DAS were to attend on the 10th of August was to discuss, amongst other things, the programme?
Yes, the program that we had.
And what we know, don't we, from the Hill paper, is that on the 10th of July, a month before this meeting, there had been a new programme produced by Intermass.
My understanding from this is that we were going to discuss the program that the bank had, which EC Harris were monitoring, which is the April program. It doesn't say here that that the purpose of the meeting is to discuss a new program.
Do you still have your diary from 2014, Ms. Schrocker?
I believe I do, yes.
So you would be able to establish quite quickly from that whether you did in fact attend this meeting or not?
I did examine my diary and I did not find any entry on the date.
Well, you know that...
excuse me. And at any rate, an invite on the diary, on the calendar, does not necessarily mean that this meeting did take place or that I had attended it. It's just an invite.
I see. So you looked at your diary, did
Yes.
you, to help prepare your witness statement for these proceedings?
Yes, and I do not recall that I found an entry on that date.
Yes, I see. But it's right, is it, that you used your diary from 2014 to help prepare your witness statements for this court case?
Yes, I have.
Did you know that my clients had asked for disclosure of your diaries from 2014 and indeed 2015?
Yes.
And did you know that those had been refused? The bank had refused to produce them?
No, I didn't know that.
Now, you did attend meetings on site with Intermass and the project team members between April and September, didn't you? You did attend some meetings.
Yes, we attended some meetings.
You tell us that at paragraph 24 of your witness statement. And you say that what you discussed was technical issues, coordination of the works.
Yes.
What did you mean by technical issues?
Technical issues related to the ongoing activities on the site.
What did you mean by coordination of the works?
The different work streams on the site would interlap, so there would be discussions about coordinating between the different contractors, the different suppliers on the works and the activities that are being done on the site.
And you attended some meetings, did you, in August and September 2014?
I attended several meetings I attended several meetings in relation to this project. I don't have it off the top of my head exactly what were the dates that I attended.
It seems a bit odd, Ms. Schocker, that you would attend meetings on site with the professional team and you'd discuss coordination and not find out about a new programme that had been produced by the contractor in July.
Even the existing program, the April 2014, required coordination of different activities between different parties on the site.
Or it just seems a little bit odd that the contractor could have produced a new programme in July and the professional team are just not talking about it. That's your evidence, is it?
It was not mentioned to me, no.
We look.
Do we have it?
We don't, I'm afraid.
I mean, it's presumably sent to your client, was it?
I
And it's your client's documents, presumably. Yeah, okay.
well, it's Intermass's document. It looks as if.
Sorry, it's in your client's file. Yeah.
Can we discuss now a different topic in that same period, though? Can I look with you back in Bundle 8 at tab 112? And this was the note of the Risk Management Committee decision to add the second tranche of the loan, or to increase the loan to DAS from 444 million to 669 million.
Yes.
We can see from the table, if you go over the page, that table we can see the existing limit of 444 million. Can you just help us with this? There's a column of OS which I take to be outstanding, is that right?
Yes.
Which has a figure in it of 399 million some odd.
Yes.
What does that figure signify?
The amount of drawdowns inclusive of interest and charges till the date of this table.
I see. So there was, on that basis, there was just over 44 million of that original tranche still available, was there?
Yes.
How does that square with the first line under the table of balance is inclusive of accrued interest and charges till 18th of May, undrawn portion is about 96 million.
This balance that is mentioned, 399,840, is inclusive of, this is the total outstanding on the loan, including all the accrued interest and charges. Okay. The undrawn portion of the principal is 96 million.
Yes, I see. So does that mean there was another 44 actually available on that? What's available to DAS now on the original facility, 44 or 96?
What's available is 96 on the principal.
96. So there was still 96 available on that, and then another 225 million was being made available.
Yes.
So there was going to be a total of, just about 320 million dirhams now available altogether.
Yes.
Now, you dealt with disbursements on this loan, didn't you?
Yes.
So if there was about 320 million dirhams available to complete the project, and you considered it was going to be completed at the end of March 2015, then that was the money that would be drawn down roughly by the end of March 2015, wouldn't it? Is that what you'd expect?
Yes, this would be the expectation, but not till March. It could extend beyond. As I said, the final PPCs take time to be issued and agreed by all the parties.
There might be a bit of run-on after March.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, but essentially you'd expect most of the money, nearly all of it, to go out by March.
No, I cannot say that I expected all this money or the major part of it to be drawn by a certain date. This depends on the issuance of the PPCs and how fast it gets agreed and approved by the parties on the site, and then coming to us by our monitoring surveyor.
Sure. But if the building works were going to be complete, the project was going to be complete, testing and commissioning done by the end of March, then you'd expect the substantial part of the funds to have been expended by then, wouldn't you?
No. Again, as I said, this depends on the PPC's issuance and processing cycle.
Would you have an expectation of the rate at which the funds would be dispersed over the period?
No, I would not have any particular expectation.
You see, if you just take a rough average on it, Ms. Shocker, let's discount the 320 million. Let's take 2/3 of it, 200 million, to allow for some run-on. That's still 20 million a month, isn't it? Over the 10-month period from June when the facility is restored to the end of March. It's 10 months, yes?
I'm sorry, this is not how it works.
I'm so sorry?
This is not how it works.
Well, I'm just trying to take a big picture view of it, Ms. Shocker, and just let's look at 2/3 of the amount of available funds. That would be 200 million, wouldn't it, roughly?
I do not know what was your basis for saying 2/3 or 1/3 or 1/4. As I said, the work is completed on site. The contractor issues PPC. It then goes to the engineer on the site. Okay, there's a lot of negotiations at this point. The engineer verifies that the works mentioned in the PPC has been done, asks sometimes a question, substantiation from the contractor, then it goes to the quantity surveyor, then there's a whole cycle, then it goes to the project owner, then it comes to us, we send it to EC Harris who review it, and then they may have some queries as well and they might go back, then it comes back to us for payment. So you cannot say that 2/3 will be PPCs equating to 2/3 or 1/3 must be issued within so and so month. It depends on the processing, the issuance, the negotiations that happen on the PPCs after them being issued by the contractor.
Well, I don't argue with all of that, Ms. Shocker, but I'm just trying to get a little bit of big picture common sense into this. There's a 10-month programme to complete the project, in your view. Mm-hmm. And there's 320 million pounds to spend, 320 million dirhams to spend to complete the project. Mm-hmm. That's what we've got. Now let's just look at the amount of disbursements that were made by the bank in the relevant period. If you look at bundle 12, please. And tab 197. Where we've here got a list of the disbursement details on this loan. And if you
Sorry, I'm afraid you've lost me. Bundle 12, 117.
197.
97. Okay.
And if we look at the second page of this, we can see the disbursements between June and September 2014. We see there's a gap between January and June, don't we? And the disbursements starting again on the 1st of June.
Yes.
And if we can see there's, in June, very quickly, there's some about just over 42 million dispersed, then more in August, by the 29th of September, about 56 million dispersed.
Yes.
In the first 4 months of those 10 months, about 56 million out of the overall facility of 320 million dispersed.
Yes.
Now, I take your point, Ms. Shocker, about delays to payment and there not being a nice, neat, even flow. But just standing back from this, only 56 million, less than a sixth of the overall funds, or about a sixth of the overall funds in 40% of the time. Something of a warning, wasn't it, that the project was going slowly?
You cannot judge the level of performance from these payments. The reason being, in this project, most of the time, it took a few months between the issuance of a PPC and at the site, the work being completed on the site, and the PPC coming to the bank for processing. Okay. Also, I recall that immediately after the restructure was approved, we had to disburse a backlog of payments that pertained to work that had been done in the month prior to the restructure. Okay, so whatever PPCs that I was processing at any point in time did not reflect the existing situation on the site at this exact moment of time.
Let's go on to a new topic, Ms. Shocker, and talk about conditions subsequent. And I'd like you to take bundle 9, please. And could we start, please, at tab 134? Let's try and agree something at the beginning, Ms. Shocker, which I think won't be controversial, but it looks from the documents, and I think I understand from your witness statements, that you at the bank were responsible for the administration of getting in the various documents that were the conditions subsequent. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, this is a document dated the 14th of September and is a list of conditions precedent and conditions subsequent.
Yes.
Do you recall this list?
Yes.
Was this something that you prepared, indeed?
I did not prepare this document. This was the table that was prepared by the lawyer to keep track of what the documents that were required and at what point in time they were required.
Oh, I see. So was that Clifford Chance prepared this?
Yes, I believe at the time, yes.
Was this something that you had then? Did Clifford Chance supply this to you at the time?
They supplied the table.
They gave you a table
with the documents in it to help us in tracking what are the documents that are required. It's like a list of the documents that are required.
So do I understand that Clifford Chance gave you a table like this? But am I understanding you right, not this very one?
This one.
This one. Clifford Chance gave you this table? Yes. So you had this table in September 2014 and onwards. Can we can see that this list actually deals with both conditions precedent and conditions subsequent, and the list of conditions subsequent starts on page 5 of the document, page 1833 of our bundle. And we can see there, can't we, that the table identifies the condition subsequent, it identifies its deadline, and it identifies the responsible party, and then it gives some other comments and current status.
Yes.
Now, we know that NBAD relied on the conditions subsequent described in lines 1, 2 and 4 when they came to terminate the facility. Can we just see then that item 1, the duly executed original of the construction contract assignment, that was due on the 30th of September, and the responsible party was Clifford Chance. And that was the case too, we can see, for the original of the contractor's insurance assignment. The responsible party, again, was Clifford Chance. And we can see under the comments and current status columns that their responsibility was to circulate a draft, or in the second case, to circulate a draft once the insurances were available.
Yes.
So that was the process for some of these conditions subsequent, wasn't it, Ms. Shocker, including those two, that Clifford Chance were the party, your lawyers, who prepared the draft document?
Yes.
Now, can we try and follow some of the history of the provision of the conditions subsequent? We can put away that bundle and go into bundle 10, please. And to tab 151. And what we can see here, can't we, is that Mr. Jean-Sébastien Blot was emailing you with documents for the Intermas contract amendment. And we can see, if we go on a couple of pages in this tab at 2073, we can see amendment to contract number 02, page 273 and following. Signed at that stage on behalf of Intermas. So that's applied to you at that stage. That's right, isn't it, Ms. Shocker?
Amendment number 2.
Yes. I'm just going to try and follow the story and agree some facts with you. I mean, do correct me if the documents are not...
I'm slightly lost. Why do you say this letter isn't addressed to her? Or anybody at...
the document at 2070, the first document, from Mr. Blot to Ms. Shocker.
I see, well, the attachment includes pages 2073 and following, does it?
Yes.
Very difficult to tell what's attached to what. Okay, thank you.
I mean, it's not... I think you agree, Ms. Shocker, that you received contract amendment number 2, didn't you?
We received amendment number 2.
Then if you go on to tab 160 in this bundle, where this is an email from you to Mr. Jean-Sébastien Blot, and you're saying to him, below correspondences refer, kindly advise the status of the enhanced PB, performance bond, and enhanced all risks insurance, NBAD named as sole loss payee. Further appreciate providing copy of the original contract with Intermas plus amendment 01 for our records.
Yes.
You were asking him for that, and then we go on to note that that stage on the 26th of October, you're asking for the performance bond and the enhanced all-risk insurance. You're not asking for the insurance's assignment.
The insurance assignment would have referred to a particular insurance policy with a particular date and a particular amount. First, I need to have the insurance policy so that I can go to my lawyer and ask them to finalize an assignment document that I can send to my borrower.
And then if we go on in this bundle to tab 163, and within that to page 2159, and we can see that it looks as if you took up the matter of the enhanced performance bond and the enhanced insurance policy naming NBAD as sole loss payee with Intermas Direct. This is an email from you to Mr. Shuhaber of Intermas. That's right, isn't it, Ms. Schrocker?
Yes.
It looks, doesn't it, as if you've had a telephone discussion with him and you're asking him to provide the enhanced performance bond and the enhanced CAR insurance policy. And of course, those would be documents that would come from the contractor, wouldn't they?
Yes.
And what happened was that Mr. Shuhaber replied to you, if we turn back a page, and if we look at the second paragraph of his email at the bottom of the page, Mr. Shuhaber to you, regarding CAR, kindly note that as an industry practice there will be small and medium-sized incidents at any construction site. The contractor is obliged to immediately commence repairing any such damage under the approval of the respective insurance company. This at first to prevent further damages of any kind, at the same time to avoid any delay in the progress of the works. Therefore, the claims by the contractor should logically be indemnified to the contractor at the shortest time possible. Hence, we recommend that the CAR policy should be renewed as per the terms and conditions of the original policy for the above reasons. So Mr. Shuhaber was saying to you, well, we don't think that there should actually be an enhanced CAR policy with NBAD as the sole loss payee.
This is his opinion, and I believe he is mistaken. I told him this there and then on the phone.
Well, this was an email to you. You didn't reply by email, did you?
My responsibility is the borrower. I would follow up, take this issue with my borrower. My borrower is the one who signed an agreement with me, undertaking to provide these documents in this manner according to this specification. The contractor can have whatever opinion he wants.
Well, it's interesting, Ms. Schocker, but there doesn't appear to be anything in writing from you to DAS or indeed to Intermas after this date seeking the enhanced insurance policy again.
I will take you back to the email from Salim Shuhaber. Please see the first line. We have reached out to the client with a reminder that we require the breakdown of the amended contract value, which has only been discussed verbally to date and should include an amount for variations and EOT. We will issue the revised performance bond as soon as the said breakdown is revised, confirming the scope of additional work and the EOT costs. This is in line with what Jean-Sébastien had been telling me at the time, that they, even though Amendment 02 had been signed by both parties, they were engaged in further negotiations, and that another amendment was under preparation, which later was provided to us. This is the breakdown that Salim was talking about here, a breakdown to The breakdown required to include, to do or to finalize amendment number 3.
And what I'm asking you about, Ms. Shocker, is the enhanced insurance policy naming NBAD as sole loss payee. Mr. Shuhaiber was saying, no, that's not a good idea, and after this you didn't follow it up again in writing at any rate, did you?
The insurance policy, the amount of the insurance policy will depend on the amount of the new contract price.
It's right, isn't it, Ms. Shocker, that you did not, in writing at any rate, chase up the enhanced insurance policy with NBAD named as loss payee again after this date?
I believe I just answered this question. The amount of the insurance policy, the enhancement of the insurance policy, would depend on the amount of the final agreed contract. So if the contract, if the amendment of the construction contract is still under negotiation, is still in transit, then obviously I cannot ask for an insurance policy just yet. I need to know the amount of the contract so that I would know how much the enhancement in the insurance policy need to be.
You no doubt are aware, Ms. Shocker, that the bank does not complain, or did not complain, when it terminated the facility in May 2015 about any failure to supply the enhanced insurance policy, naming it as sole loss payee.
I am not aware of this, but then I will again tell you that if I do not have a final construction contract, then I do not know how much is the amount of the insurance that I need to ask for.
Just see what you then did at this time. If we work backwards in this little clip of emails, we've been looking at 2158. If you go to the top of the page, what you appear to have done, well, you need to go to the bottom of the previous page. You have emailed Mr. Blott and indeed Mr. Sunhill, who we met earlier today in this courtroom at HQS, and you referred them to your email, or you sent them your email from Mr. Shuhaiber, and you said below correspondences in our meeting on Monday the 10th of November and yesterday kindly confirm the breakdown of amended construction value has been provided to Intermas so we may resolve the pending performance bond issue. And Mr. Blott replied on November the 13th, Dear Alia, the breakdown was confirmed yesterday by official letter to Intermas for your reference letter is attached. And then you sent that on to Mr. Hall at the top of the page, and Mr. Hall at the bottom of page 2156 asked for us a copy of the signed contract amendment for our reference and record. And then at the top of page 2156 we can see what you did was to send a copy of the initial contract and 2 amendments to Mr. Hall of E.C. Harris. And that's what you did, wasn't it?
Yes, I sent to E.C. Harris what I had at the time.
Yes. And what you had at the time, we can see, and as I understand it, what you sent, initial contract and 2 amendments, we see at 2161, behind this little clip of emails. It's one run of emails as it becomes, but at 2161 is the contract. And if you turn on to page 2252, there's Amendment 1, which is signed by Das. And if you turn on to page 2263, there's Amendment number 2, which is signed by both parties.
Yes.
So far as you were concerned, that was the construction contract as amended, wasn't it?
No, this is not my understanding.
But at this time it was the construction contract as amended, wasn't it?
No, at this time, this was the last construction contract they had signed, pending finalization of amendment number 3.
Now, we saw that the responsibility for providing the draft construction contract assignment, that was the responsibility of Clifford Chance. There doesn't seem to be any draft was ever created. Is that right?
The assignment of the contract, the assignment of the construction contract would have required a contract to be in place, a final one. I needed to provide the final construction contract to Clifford Chance so that they can draft the assignment referring to this specific contract dated so-and-so, signed on so-and-so for so-and-so amount.
As I understand it, you thought there was going to be another version, further amendments of the construction contract, and you were waiting for that.
We were advised, continuously advised by Mr. Blott, I was continuously advised by Mr. Blott that negotiations were ongoing for amendment number 3. And to evidence what he was saying, he sent me the draft of amendment number 3.
Yes, so you expected further amendments, and as a result of that, you didn't instruct Clifford Chance to prepare the construction contract assignment or the insurances assignment. Is that right?
Yes, because to my understanding, whatever I had at the time, amendment number 2, was not the final one that was going to be assigned to the bank.
So just to be absolutely clear, you didn't at any stage instruct Clifford Chance to prepare drafts of the construction contract assignment or the construction insurances assignment?
Clifford Chance are aware that once the contract, the final, is in place, they would be provided these documents so that they can provide the assignment, the final version of the assignment.
It's a simple fact, Ms. Shopper. I'm sure your lawyers were worried about the effect, if any. It was just that you didn't instruct Clifford Chance at any stage, did you, to prepare a draft of an assignment of the construction contract or the construction insurances?
No, I did not instruct them to.
Now, can I turn to a document in Bundle 12 with you? And it's at tab 194. And it's your email, internal email to Antoine Sokan on March the 3rd, where you were, it's actually addressed, I'm so sorry, to Salma Abdelhok, copy to Mr. Sokan. And it attaches a paper which seeks authority to make a further disbursement on the project, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Which disbursement we know was made. But within this document, you note some events which you record as happening at a meeting on the 23rd of February with Mr. Al-Mahari. That's right, isn't it, that you have matters recorded on page 2560?
So this is your note, is it?
Tell us in your witness statement you prepared this, Ms. Shocker. Was that right?
Yes, I prepared this note.
Thank you.
And on the second page of the document, 2560, you record some words that relate to a meeting on the 23rd of February, 3 days before, with Mr. Musaba Al-Mahari.
Which paragraph are you referring to, please?
I'm about the middle of the page, and you'll see there's a paragraph that just begins on the 23rd of February.
Yes.
See it? And then you've got there 3 paragraphs, really, which deal with your meeting with Mr. Al-Mahari on the 23rd of February.
Yes.
Is that right? You were talking about conditions subsequent at the moment, and there's a reference to reiterating the existing delays and pending conditions subsequent constitute a breach of the restructure agreement, and stress that loan drawdowns are at a halt till a clear strategy forward is in place. I think you were in court earlier, weren't you? And you, I'm sure, heard Mr. Al-Mahiri say that he didn't think that was said at the meeting.
Yes, I heard Mr. Al-Mahiri.
Yes, but do I understand that you disagree and you think this note is an accurate record of the meeting?
Yes, this note is accurate as far as my recollection of this meeting goes.
Thank you. We know that you went on holiday on...
Can I just ask, forgive me for interrupting, what the hierarchy is of the people who signed this minute? You, of course, are described as a director, but that sometimes doesn't mean what it says. Mr. Sokin, or Miss Sokin, or maybe it's Mr. who's HOGCR, is he your superior or your subordinate?
He's my superior. He's my superior, sir. He's my line
Your
manager.
superior?
My line manager.
Your line manager. Mr. Yazbek?
He's the group chief credit officer.
So he is above Mr. Sokin, or?
Yes.
And then Mr.
Abhijit
Chaudhry is?
Yes, group chief risk officer.
So he's even higher, is he?
Yes, Your Honor.
So it's reverse order of seniority, these signatures. Yes, I see. Thank you.
Just for clarity, I think it was only yourself and Mr. Sokan at the meeting on the 23rd, wasn't it, of those 4?
Oh, I see, yeah.
They weren't all 4 at the meeting on the 23rd.
I haven't hoisted that in. Thank you.
And then we know from your witness statements, Ms. Shocker, that you went on holiday on the 8th of April and remained on holiday until the 12th of May 2015.
Yes.
And you tell us that once you got back, the decision to make the notice of demand had already been made by senior management.
Yes.
So it follows then that you played no part in that decision.
Yes.
That's correct, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Shocker. I have no more questions.
Thank you very much for your help. Thank you for coming. Shall we have a short break now, or rather up to you? Okay, let's take a short break.
Rise.